What if a computer could read just like you do? Not only see the words, but feel what they mean. Know if you are happy or upset. Take a long, boring report and shrink it down to one line and even chat with you like a real person. Sounds like a feature, right? Well, it is already here. It is called NLP, that is short for Natural Language Processing. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how it works. The best part, you'll see the code, just a few simple lines. Let us jump in. First, why does this even matter? Think about how much text is out there. Emails, charts, reviews, posts, reports. In fact, about 80% of all world data is text. 80%. That is a giant mountain of words. Way too much for any team to read. So most of it just sits there, never read, never used. But what if a computer could read all of it and tell us what it says? That's the big idea behind everything today. But here is the tricky part. Language is messy. Look at this line. This new phone is sick. Now, is that good or bad? You know, right away, it is good. The phone is great. But a computer? For years, it had no idea. It saw the word sick and thought illness, bad, negative. See, we use slang. We are sarcastic. We drop little hints, and that is really hard for a machine. But not anymore. Deep learning changed the game. Let me show you how machines finally caught up. In this video, we'll learn three big skills. 1. Sentiment analysis. That is reading the mood. Is the text happy, angry, or just okay? 2. Summarization. That is taking something long and making it short without losing the point. And 3. Chatbots. Software that can chat with you and actually help. 3 skills, 1 toolkit, and yes, real code for each one. Let us start the very beginning. So, what is NLP really? In simple words, it teaching computers to read, understand, and write human language. It brings together all things: the study of language, machine learning, which finds pattern in data, and plain old computer power. For a long time, people wrote stick tools by hand. It was slow and clunky. Then in 2017, something big happened. A new kind of model arrived. It is called transformer. And here is why it is special. It reads each word in context. It looks at the whole sentence, not just one word at a time. That single idea powers every tool you will see today. Okay, how does it actually work? Most NLP tools follow the same simple path. First, you take raw text, then you break into small pieces called tokens. Next comes the clever part, embeddings. That just means turning each word into a list of numbers. Why numbers? Because computers love numbers, and these special numbers carry meaning. So the words that are similar sit close together. Here is a famous example. Take king, subtract man, add woman, and you land right next to queen. Pretty amazing, right? After that, the model does its thinking, and out comes the answer, a label, a summary, or a reply, and that is the whole pipeline. Alright, skill number 1, sentiment analysis. Let us read some emotion. So, what is sentiment analysis? It is simple. It is finding the feeling in text. Is it positive, negative, or neutral? And why do companies care so much? A few reasons. First, support. If a customer is angry, you want to catch it fast and help right away. Second, brand. You can watch how people feel about you online in real time. Third, products. You can read thousands of reviews and learn what people love and what they hate. And all of this happens automatically at a scale no human team could ever match. Now, how do machines read mood? It got better over time in 3 steps. The first way was simple, just a list of good words and bad words. Love is good, hate is bad, fast and easy, but it misses a lot. It reads not bad as negative, which is just wrong. The second way used machine learning. You feed it a lot of examples and it learns the patterns, smarter but still limited. The third way is today's winner transformers. These read full sentence, they understand tone, they catch sarcasm, they even handle not bad. And the best part, they are really easy to use. Let me prove it to you. Here is why context is everything. Take this line. The movie was not bad at all. The word way sees the word bad and says negative, but that is wrong. Not bad at all actually means good. A transformers gets that. It reads the whole thing and says positive. Now try this one. Oh, great. Another delay. Just what I needed. Every single word sounds happy, but you can feel the sarcasm. It is negative and modern model can catch that too. So here is the lesson. Don't judge one word at a time. The real meaning lies in the whole sentence. Okay, let us see some code and don't worry, it is short. We are using a tool called Hugging Face. Think of it as a free library of ready-made AI models. Watch this. We bring in the tool. We load a sentiment model in one line. Then we give it a sentence. This new phone is sick. I love it. And we hit run. Look at the result. Positive with 99% confidence. That's it. 4 lines of code. And we are using a model trained on millions of examples. He didn't train a thing, he just used it. How great is that? Now, let us do even more. What if you have thousands of reviews? Easy, you just pass a list and the model score them all at once. Watch, terrible experience, negative, absolutely fantastic, positive, and it was okay, nothing special. The model says negative, but only 71% is true. See that it is not fully confident, and that makes sense. It is a mixed review. Now, one quick tip for a special field like medicine and finance, you can train the model a little more on your own examples. That is called fine tuning, and it makes it even sharper. Great, we can read more, but what about really long text? Time for skill number 2, summarization. Summarization means making long text short but keeping the main point. Why is this so useful? Because we are all drowning in text, long reports, long emails, long meetings. Nobody has time to read it all, so we let AI give us the short version. And you see this everywhere already. News summaries, meeting notes, those TLDR lines, even little preview under a search result. All of that is summarization at work. Now, there are two ways to do this, and the difference is simple. The first is called extractive. It just picks the most important sentences straight from the text, like using a highlighter. It is safe, it never makes things up, but it can be a bit choppy. The second is called abstractive. This one writes brand new sentences in its own words, just like a person would. It sounds smooth and natural, but there is a catch. Sometimes it makes things up. We call that a hallucination, so you have to check it. Same text, two styles, you pick the one that fits. So, how does each one work under the hood? The extractive way scores every sentence. It asks how important is this one, then it gives the top view. No writing needed. The abstractive way uses a transformer. It reads the whole document, then it writes a fresh short summary word by word. The popular models even have names like BAT and TPy, but don't worry about the names. Just remember they read long and write short. Let us try it in code again, nice and short. We load a summarizer we are using a model called BERT. Then we hand it a long paragraph about AI in customer support. We set a max length so the summary stays short and we run it. Here is what comes back: one clean sentence. AI is reshaping customer support, helping companies read tickets, check mode, and reply faster. We took a big chunk of text and pulled out the heart of it in seconds. Let me show you the real power here. On the left, a long paragraph, 78 words. It talks about sales, cost, hiring, all kinds of things. Now, what's the right side? The summary, just 17 words. Revenue went up 20% thanks to a strong new app, and the team will spend it on hiring. Same meaning, a fraction of size, the whole point in one brief. That is the magic of summarization. But hold on, there are a few things to watch for. First, hallucination. Remember, the smart summarizer can make things up. So for anything important, always check it against the original. Second, length limits. Model can only read so much at once. For a huge document, you split it into parts and summarize each part. Third, testing. There are scores that measure quality, but they're not perfect. A human eye still matters. So use these tools, but use them wisely. Okay, last skill, and it is a fun one. Chatbots. Let us teach a computer to talk. A chatbot is a software that talks with you. In plain language, it answers questions, it helps you get things done, and they are everywhere now. Customer support, online shopping, help desk, even the voice assistant in your home. But here is the thing: for a long time, chatbots were bad, really bad. You would type a question and get, sorry, I didn't understand that. So annoying, right? Then large language models came along, and suddenly chatbots could actually understand you and reply like a human. That changed everything. Let us check how chatbots grew up in three stages. Stage 1, rule based. These followed strict rules. If the user say this, reply with that. Simple but easy to break. Go off script and it is lost. Stage 2, retrieval. These were smarter. They would guess what you meant, then pick the best reply from the set list. Better, but still stuck with what is on the list. Stage 3, generative. And this is today. These writes a fresh reply for anything you say. Super flexible, super natural, but they do need some rules to stay safe and correct. More on that in just a moment. So, what is inside a modern chatbot? Let us break it down. First, your message comes in like, how do I reset my password? Next, the bot tries to understand it. What do you actually want? Then comes an optional but powerful step: retrieve. The bot looks up real facts from your own documents. After that, the model tries to reply, and finally, it sends it back to you. That retrieve step is the key. It's the difference between a bot that guesses and a bot you can trust. Let me explain that a bit more. Time for code. Let us build a tiny chatbot. We load a chat model, then we give it some messages. Notice there are two roles here: a system message. This sets the bot's job. We say you're a friendly support assistant, and a user. That is the question: how do I reset my password? We run it, and the bot writes back a helpful reply. That is the basic shape. And here is the good news: the big AI services use this exact same format. So, what you learn right here works at any size. But a good chatbot needs one more thing: memory. Think about a real chat. You say something, then your next message builds on it. So the bot has to remember. How do we do that? Simple. We keep a list of whole conversation. Each time we add new message and we pass that whole list back to the model. Now the bot remembers what came before. Watch. You say, my order has not arrived. Then it is been 2 weeks and the bot still knows you're talking about your order. That is the memory, and it makes the whole chart feel real. Now remember that retrieve step. Let me explain it. It has a name, RAG. It stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Big words, but a simple idea. Here is how it works. You ask a question, the system searches your own documents for the answer. It finds the best part, then it hands those facts to the model, and the model answer using your real up-to-date info. Why does this matter? Two big wins. One, it stops the bot from making things up. Two, it can use your private data. And don't worry, we'll go much deeper on this in part 3. If you ever build a real chatbot, keep 4 habits in mind. 1. Guardrail, keep bot on topic and safe. 2. Grounding, use RAG per facts. Don't trust bot's memory for things like prices or dates. 3. Hand up, when the bot is unsure, pass it to a real person nicely. And 4. Testing, try it on real charts and keep checking it. Remember, a chatbot is a product, not a one-time script. Follow this 4 and your bot will be reliable. Now, here is where it gets exciting. These 3 skills work great together. Picture a customer support system. A message comes in. First, sentiment checks the mood. Is the person upset? Move them up the line. Next, summarization strings a long back and forth into a quick recap. Then the chatbot writes a smart reply grounded in real facts. Mood, summary, reply, all working as one. And guess what? That's exactly the system we will build step by step in part 3. Let us quickly wrap up what we learned. First, NLP turns piles of text into something useful, searchable, and measurable and helpful. Second, thanks to ready-made models, we can do all this in just a few lines of code, no PhD needed. Third, 3 skills, 1 toolkit. Sentiment reads mood, summarization makes things short, chatbots hold a conversation, and fourth was the tricky parts. Read the full sentence, check for made up facts, and ground your answers in real data. Get those right, and you are already ahead of most people. So, what is coming up next? In part 2, we'll cover 2 more skills: sorting documents into groups automatically and pulling out key details like names, dates, and places. Then in part 3, we'll build a real project, a full AI customer support system using everything from this series. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. And that's it for part 1. If this helped you, do me a quick favor, hit that like button and subscribe so I can catch part 1, part 3. And drop a comment. What would you build with NLP? I read every single one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.